Peace and love. God bless. This is Mark, the Silver Money Dude. Quick video. I want to talk about the Silver Money Takeover a bit. I know that silver dipped below $19 an ounce this week, and got a few emails from a few of my subscribers asking me to talk a little bit about that and just reiterate some of the things that I constantly talk about in the Silver Money Takeover series. Now, I've been going back and forth with a few people and some comments on a few of my older videos. There's one that's called 1,000 ounces of silver will equal $1 million. Something like that. Talking about how 1,000 ounces of silver, at some point in time, silver will be priced at $1,000 an ounce. So you get 1,000 ounces of silver, you'll be a millionaire. Now, these are thought-provoking videos. So a lot of times, some of the titles, they're not to be taken literally, per se. Even though that is still a fact. Bottom line is, there is going to come a point in time when the price of silver will no longer be controlled by the banking system. Right now, it's controlled by the banking system. It's controlled by automated computer programs that are pushing currency or pushing money into the market, selling silver futures contracts that they don't own. It's what's called a short. And there's really no risk to the banking system for this, because if a bank fails, the bank is basically going to be bailed out, or so they think. You see, you're not going to be able to have a large-scale bank failure again without there being a consequence that we actually see reflected in the real economy and in the real world. This fake artificial currency system that we're using, it's easy to cover things up and kick the bucket, kick the can, not kick the bucket, kick the can. So they're kicking the can further and further down the road each time. Every time that something happens, they cover it up by printing money and, fixing whatever the problem is. It's like putting a Band-Aid on an open wound that's bleeding profusely. You put the Band-Aid there, the Band-Aid soaks up, and the Band-Aid does no good to the wound because the wound is still there and it's still bleeding. So that's kind of what the situation is with our economy and with our monetary system. And people really don't know anything about it. I mean, the average person walking down the street or in their home watching television every day, looking at Scandal and looking at reality shows on TV. And I mention Scandal because that's just one of the most popular ones that I'm hearing about. People watching Dancing with the Stars. People are watching this. People are watching that. Game shows. Whatever. Cable TV, just in general. You're spending all your time watching these things in the mainstream media. But in spite of that, you still have real things going on in the real world that will affect you. That you just have not seen affect you yet. So back to silver. The question is, can we really take over the silver market? And the answer to that is yes. And right now, at this point in time, we're in the best position to be able to do it collectively. It takes a long time to get information out to people, unless it's in the mainstream media. Mainstream media is what controls people's minds. Through commercials and through advertisements and through television programming, people are being controlled and their lives are being controlled by things on television, things in the news. The only things that they want you to focus on is the things that are not a threat to the system. So just be mindful of that. Right now the big issue is what's happening in the Ukraine. That's really something that's a distraction to something that's way more relevant, which is the global currency reset. See, they want to keep your attention on something that has nothing to do with what reality is that's going to affect you. So here in America, you're watching what's going on in the Ukraine, and you're focused on that. Oh God, and this and that, and blah blah blah. Oh, it's a civil war. Things will take care of themselves for the most part in other countries. And the country that you're living in, your focus really should be on things relevant and pertaining to the monetary system of this country. The things going on with China right now with money and with our currency. They basically dumped the US dollar, and they're not using the US dollar in trade. So you're going to see that the US dollar is not going to be the reserve currency anymore. And the only reason that it has been the reserve currency is because of the military power that the US has to control infrastructure, among other things, in other countries like Iraq and Afghanistan, countries that are oil rich, among other things. So just to keep things in perspective, be mindful and aware of mainstream media and how it is distracting you from what you should be focused on. Buying silver is something that is preparation. It's not fun. It's not something that is, oh yeah, I collect silver. Or, oh yeah, I'm investing in silver. No. Silver is way more than an investment, and it's not something that's a hobby that you should take up. Yeah, I'm going to start collecting some silver. No. Silver is a direct threat to the monetary system that we use that is falling apart right before our eyes. Every day you're seeing it. Banks are still, 0% interest rates. They can't afford to raise the interest rate. The national debt is $17.5 trillion. And it will continue to go up. It's going to become 18 trillion. And it's going to become 19 and 20. It's just going to continue to go up. But what does it mean? What it means is that the debt-based system is becoming larger and larger, but the economy is not growing. There's going to come a point in time where there's so much currency in existence that it's not going to be able to keep up with what's going on in the real economy, and you're going to see the result of inflation, which is price increases. You'll see rising prices. We haven't seen it yet. You're seeing a trickle. You're seeing it slowly rise. But there's going to come a point in time where the prices will, in some instances, double for things that you have to buy, for things that you have to pay for. So all of this, I'm saying, I'm just bringing these things up because I want to focus the attention on silver right now, to reveal to you that silver is a resource, one, and it's also the way that you will be able to protect yourself against what's happening with the currency. So it's twofold for right now. I made a video not too long ago. It's called The Hunt Brothers 2013. And this video really was made to indicate and to show how it was almost done by the Hunt brothers, where they literally took over the silver market and they bought physical silver. But the issue that they ran into was that they used leverage, meaning that they were participating in that buying within the futures market. And that's how the system was able to ruin them. So we're in a position to use purchasing power with absolutely no leverage. So we're able to take over this market. And by taking over this market, we will see the price of silver increase and begin to reflect its real value, and it will begin to reflect the supply-demand value. Because the amount of silver that's available each year is roughly about 1 billion ounces. at a price of about $19. I think that it dipped below that. So you do that math. That's $19 billion that's necessary to absorb the entire supply of silver. I believe it's about 46 or 47% of the available supply of silver goes into industry. Another large chunk of it is coming and going into jewelry, and other things that are not industry. But it's all basically going to be used for things. In other words, it's not coming from investment demand, which is us, those of us that are buying silver. So the silver money takeover, the objective is to shift the demand away from the industrial into the investment. What this will allow you to do is to change not only the demand of silver. So in other words, by us buying it, not only are we increasing investment demand or increasing the physical demand for silver, at the same time we're able to shift where it's going, which is into industry. They would have to shift it away from industry into wherever the new demand is. So we're going to create the demand. So if we do that big enough or on a large enough scale, that demand that we create is going to have to be fulfilled. There's never going to come a time where they don't fulfill demand. And this goes for anything that's produced or manufactured and that there's a market for. So just like if people want soap, manufacturers of soap are going to make soap and give it to them. If we demand silver, the silver's already there. They'll take from something else to give us that demand. It just happens. It's just the way that the system is set up. So we can use that to our advantage and get the physical silver into our hands. And by doing so, we're putting ourselves in control of a resource that the world needs. See, silver is being used now in solar, water filtration, satellites, all the new technology that we're using, cell phones, tablets, electronics. That's where silver's going. These are things that are not going anywhere. As a matter of fact, the demand for these things are increasing, which is going to continue to increase the demand for silver. So now if we demand silver from the investment side, even though we know that we're not just investing in silver, we're not buying it to sell it back for currency. We're buying it to control it. We're buying it to put the physical in our hands and never sell it because we understand the true value of it. So there's going to come a time when you're going to see $100 silver, $200, $300, $400, $500 silver, $1,000 silver. And by the time that happens, that's just price catching up with the value. And that's going to happen because we're going to shift the demand. You see, this is a very strategic plan. So for those of you that want to know more about the way that this works, go back. There's 192 videos on the Silver Money Takeover hashtag on the channel. In that playlist, 192 videos. Go back as far as you need to find out the specific details of how we're going to do this. Because we're in the process of doing it right now at the infant stages. But you have to understand the way that anything works in this new economy and in this new society that we're in. With all this technology, things go viral. YouTube is the perfect platform to use to make something go viral as far as information. So it's no different for the Silver Money Takeover. We're going to spread on social media. Not in the mainstream. You won't see a commercial for silver. You won't see a commercial telling you, hey, buy silver. It's the best investment of your lifetime. You won't see that. This is alternative media. YouTube, Facebook, Vimeo, all these video platforms that are out here. I don't even know half of them. I'm on YouTube. There's a whole bunch of other ones I haven't even delved into yet. But what I'm doing is creating the content first so that the information will be here. So that's the purpose of these videos on the channel, is to create the content so that it's there, it's archived. So all you have to do is go and reference that information to find out more details about it. So Silver Money Takeover, we've made it affordable, convenient, and automatic for you to buy silver every month. And this is a way for you to participate in a collective effort and in a collective movement for us to shift the demand of silver away from industry into our hands. Because what we're doing by doing that is controlling the resource. So that way, we know industry is always going to be there to demand. So if we become a new source of supply, because we have the silver, what does that tell you about the value and the control that gives us as the holders of silver? Put two and two together, guys. So join the Silver Money Takeover. Go to facebook.com/getrichslow. Sign up for a monthly purchase plan. You can start with as little as $25 a month. We've incorporated everything into the plans. Service fee is included, which is inclusive of free shipping, free airtight coin cases, free Saturday pickup if you live in New York City, free shipping, a lot of freebies. We have a spot price guarantee incorporated into the plan, and we're able to do this because we're using collective purchasing power of hundreds, thousands, ultimately millions of members of the Silver Money Takeover, buying silver together. It's really simple. If you're not subscribed to the channel yet, youtube.com/silvermoney2013, make sure that you subscribe. Look at the Silver Money Takeover playlist on the channel. It's under #SilverMoneyTakeover. Go into that playlist. There's about 192 videos in there. Go as far back as you need to and look at this information. Definitely check out the Hunt Brothers 2013. That's a dynamic video. It shows and it gives you the history of the Hunt Brothers and the way that they almost took over the entire market. And that was in 1980. So just imagine, there's millions of us, and it doesn't take much to absorb the entire annual supply of silver. We could do it with less than $19 billion. $19 billion. And there's trillions of dollars that are being spent out here. So just imagine if we actually pull this off, and we collectively, as ordinary people, work together and unify for one common purpose, which is to control a resource that the world needs. Imagine the power that gives us collectively. You can't even imagine. In any case, this is Mark signing off. This is the Silver Money Dude. Make sure that you subscribe. Check out the 20K Journey. Check out the New York Minute videos. And check out the Free World Order. All those playlists are on the channel now. And that's about it. Peace and love. God bless. Keep stacking.